No, whenever I'm recording the vlog, it's the same thing. I recorded like 4 times.
It's so hard. It's so hard sometimes, starting this podcast. But thank you. Thank you for meeting with me. I appreciate go ahead and introduce yourself and plug your Instagram handle for people to check out while they listen to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Nevin, first of all, for having me here. And for everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Miguel, and I'm a photographer. You can find me on Instagram as miguel.ports.
Yeah, and so I was taking a look at your Instagram last night, prepping for this conversation, and I noticed a few interesting things. Is one, you're from Mexico, so I guess that makes you an international student here at Thompson Rivers University, which is super interesting to me. Two, you're a TRU social media ambassador, and three, you create not just amazing pictures but amazing vlogs. Do you mind kind of sharing how you ended up in Kamloops, why you chose Kamloops, and what you're going to be doing here for the next 4 years?
So I got here last year. Before that, I was living in Texas, and I studied high school there, and for college and the university, I didn't really know where to go. TRU actually offers a scholarship for Mexican people, and so I applied and I got it, and that's pretty much why I'm here. First,
you won a scholarship for TRU. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and was it what was the parameters for the scholarship? What's the name of the scholarship, or what? Who are they looking for in these scholarships for other people to maybe take a look at who might be able to apply themselves?
So the name of the scholarship is the Jorge Campos Scholarship, and if you ask what you have to do, or what you need to do to get it, is you need to write an essay. Sorry. And
what did you write your essay about?
I wrote it about what I wanted to do. At the time, I wanted to become a psychologist, so I wrote about the interest that I had in helping other people and why I wanted to become a psychologist. And then after that, you pretty much also send your GPA and your high school records, and that's about it.
Okay, so you've obviously switched your focus to photography, or is that correct? What are you doing at TRU now? What are you studying?
Well, I've always liked photography. It has always been in the back of my head to have it as a second career or something like that. And recently, I don't know, just psychology is not it's just not for me. And I switched to communications. I think for me it's better to work with other people and create content and just be creative in my field.
Yeah, and you're clearly getting out there and creating a bunch of content with a wide variety of creatives here in town. This is one of my first time meeting up with a creative I've never met in person until this podcast. How did you meet all these people, and how does it work, and what do you guys do together?
Right. Well, the interaction with Instagram actually is pretty recent. It started this summer, and it's just reaching out to people and inviting them to work with you, showing them what you want to do, what you have in mind, and if people are also creators, then they will want to do it. And it's also nice to make connections with people and networking and all of that.
Yeah, tell our audience one of your stories of meeting with a creator. What's one of the craziest or one of your fondest memories of meeting up with one of these local Kamloops creators and creating something, whatever that was?
It's always something new. There's not one story that I could just pick out of all the adventures that I've had here, but every single time I go out with someone, we go to a new place and you don't know what's gonna happen. I've been to Padova, for example, here in Kamloops, in Tranquil. It's an abandoned hospital, for what I have understood, and it's just fun going out with people and on an adventure.
Yeah, totally. And when you get behind your camera lens, what moments are you looking for? What do you want to share with your audience and with your followers, and what do you want to put out there in the world?
For some photographers, they try to just pick the moment and just snap the picture without them actually having to pose the model. For me, what I try to take in my pictures is sort of a scene, for example, of a movie. I love movies. So seeing a place and just having the composition and imagining, like, oh, if this was a movie, this would be really cool to have, or this would be an amazing story. and then from there I just post my model. I do post my model. I like having that in my pictures.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with posing. I guess it's no different than Zach Abney gets to imagine how he's going to paint something, right? He does a sketch. It's as a photographer, you're just working a different medium, or it's no different than you and I having a 2-minute conversation before pressing record, right? Kind of walking through how this conversation more or less would work, right? You don't want to put restraints on it, but you want something to come to life that you're proud of. And what do you think that you're most proud of that you've created in your time here in Kamloops?
Again, it's not just one picture that I could pick out of all the ones that I do, because they're all different. They have their own special things. I'm always prouder, or more proud, I don't know what's the correct way to say it, more proud of the most recent project that I did, just because it's fresh. It's something new that I did. But
how do you turn that off in your head where you're thinking about the next adventure? Because I'm getting so excited about all the future podcasts I'm going to record and all the conversations I'm going to have. As someone who's created much more content than myself, how do you slow yourself down to enjoy what you just did and what you just put out? Or are you constantly thinking about the next adventure?
I think at the time of going in an adventure, I focus 100% on that. It's hard whenever you already have that thing those pictures to edit, and then you're planning on the next person. It's definitely hard, because then the next person becomes more important from what you already have.
Yeah, but it's not that they're more important. It's just you're just so excited to tell their story.
Yeah, no, it's just the fresher thing, the newer thing, is what.
Do you think that's something that digital media has kind of unfortunately caused, that you're always looking for the next thing and it's hard to be in the moment? Or do you have any tactics that you use to try and keep yourself grounded, I guess, in who you are and who you're with?
Definitely. I think social media gives you some kind of pressure, not a pressure that you can enjoy necessarily, but a pressure that you need to be up to date. You need to come with something new every single day. It doesn't give you enough time to enjoy what you already have.
Yeah, totally. Well, let's flip gears for a little bit and chat a little bit about Kamloops. What was your thoughts when you first arrived? Did you know what you were coming to? Did you research here? I did not research Kamloops before I moved here. I had no idea I was moving to a semi-arid desert. I thought I was moving to the coast. But what were your thoughts of Kamloops when you landed here from Texas?
From Texas and Mexico City, actually. Before I came here, I stayed in Mexico City for a couple months. And when I got here, it's just the scene that you see coming from a city and seeing all the mountains and seeing all the forests and all of that is really beautiful here. And then just the people. There's different people here than comparing it to a city. A city, everybody's busy, everybody's like just living fast. They don't care about you. Here, I think everybody notices you, and everybody's so nice, and it's just part of the Kamloops life.
As you've explored Kamloops, what are kind of some of your favorite go-to spots around town, favorite restaurants, or where do you like to check out if you're not behind the camera?
Funny thing, if I'm not behind the camera, I'm behind the computer because I'm editing. That's the thing about a photographer. I don't have a lot of time to go out and just go to a restaurant. Number one, because I go to school. If I'm not at school, I'm taking pictures. If I'm not taking pictures, I'm editing. If I'm not editing, then I'm probably watching a movie, because that's my favorite thing to do. If I had to pick one thing, it would be just the coffee spots. They're so calm, and it's nice to actually take your mind off of things and concentrate on what you're creating. Those are my favorite places to go.
There's lots of different coffee spots around town. They're always popping up. They're all with different atmospheres and cultures and their own ecosystems. Miguel, you mentioned you love movies, that you're experimenting with making movies and stuff. Are you familiar with the Kamloops Independent Short KISS Festival? Or you think you're going to try and submit something into that?
No, I'm not familiar with that. What is it about?
KISS, it's part of the film fest here in Kamloops, but basically it's independent creators or amateur creators to make a movie. I think we have not too much more time left to submit, but definitely check out Kamloops Independent.
You know what?
Short.
Now that you actually mentioned that, there's I don't know if you know him, Nolan Chapman and Nolan. There's this other Nolan. They make videos and movies and stuff like that. I actually got invited with them to record their next project, which is going to be a movie. Maybe it will be in the festival.
Perfect. Well, we're coming up to a close, Miguel, and I want to again appreciate you taking the time out of your Sunday morning to meet with me and chat. So they can find you at miguel.ports. Can you explain your Instagram handle? It's not your actual name. It's half your name. Where does the ports come in?
From portraits.
Oh, okay. Cool. That makes a lot of sense because you want to be a portrait photographer. Is that your focus?
Yeah, I enjoy more working with people than doing landscapes and stuff like that.
They can find your work there. Is there anything else that you want to kind of share? Have people take a look at of your work? Do you have a portfolio out there that or websites?
I think my most updated portfolio would be Instagram. Other than that, I also have a Facebook page, which is Valentin Photography, which was my old username for Instagram actually. And that there's pretty much where I post my pictures.
As we close, is there anyone you want to kind of give a shout out of whose work you're admiring and you want to have our audience maybe take a peek at?
Man, you kind of put me on the spot. We have so many good photographers in Kamloops. I can't just pick one. Everybody has their own style.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair. Well, thank you, Miguel, for spending the time to chat with me. I'm looking forward to editing up this podcast and getting it out to everyone. And I hope you enjoyed your time with me, and you tune in when it goes live.
Thank you, man. It was pretty fun being here. Thank you for having me again. And yeah, I'm looking up for listening to it.